There is a podcast about an island in the North Atlantic where people have been looking for an incredible treasure for more than 200 years.
Hello and welcome back to Could It Be?
An Oak Island podcast.
We are your hosts, Deidre and Dustin White.
Hey, hey.
Hey.
We're here.
It's Oak Island episode 2 recap time.
Day. You forgot the day part.
Day.
Yeah, hello, everybody. Welcome. And we are here to chat about season 9, episode 2, the gold medal.
Correct.
We missed this one last week, and the reason being because my sister, as many of you know, and I mentioned it at the very end of the last episode, she was murdered 3 weeks ago in Portland, Oregon. Her memorial service was on Saturday, so we were super behind all week with our podcast stuff, which is understandable. We've been shown a lot of grace and love from the community for not putting out an episode quickly last week, but we're here to do it now. We had discussed maybe doing it and episode 2 and 3 together.
Yeah.
And we decided it'd be better if we just put out an episode 2, then we could put out an episode 3, and that's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yay.
So that's that. But anyway, thank you so much to everybody that sent their love, their sympathies, their condolences. It's felt like it's helped me. And literally it was the worst time of my life. So I just want to say thank you so much for all the outpouring of love and support. And I know Deidre seconds that.
I do. I second and I third that and all the things.
Yeah, we also got a lot of support and love from some people that work on Oak Island. So you guys know who you are. Thank you so much for that. I think we are ready to just start talking about season 9, episode 2, the gold medal.
Hopefully. And I'm just going to say to our people, because some people are watching this live and we were having some tech issues before. They're saying that the audio is fine, but the video does freeze off and on.
Sorry.
Which doesn't make sense considering I'm hardwired directly into the internet, but it's like it's confused. So I'm not sure. We're going to do the best we can, though.
Maybe we need to upgrade from 56K.
Oh, whatever.
No, we actually have like one of the fastest internets available. So I don't know what's
exactly.
going on.
Oh, and now it's like bumping up and then it just, oh my gosh, I can't look at that because
all right.
It's going to stress me
hello,
out.
people. Let's talk about the gold medal.
Yes.
All right. So what happened on this week's episode?
Well, where do we want to start? I mean, the money pit in the swamp, obviously, we've spent a decent amount of time there and we did some metal detecting. So
you got a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I think they started out in the money pit, so maybe we should too.
Let's talk about the money pit. Who was there at the beginning of the episode?
We had Terry, Steve, and Charles in the money pit. They're getting ready to, be drilling on next borehole. So that's borehole D2.
Cool. Yeah, Steve says that they have a 15-foot rectangle where they have good data, but it's unknown data.
And I say, what does that mean, Steve? Just
Don't
that
know.
There was nothing there, or is the 15-foot rectangle what they're like referring to the C1 cluster? Is the C1 cluster a 15-foot rectangle?
I thought the C1 cluster was a little bit bigger than 15 feet.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Didn't they say that borehole D2 was just 8 feet away from C1? So I don't know. It's within, I'm guessing that the 15-foot rectangle would encase C1. So maybe it is the whole cluster. I don't know.
Wait, they said what, D2? Yeah, I mean, that looks right. Looking at my handy dandy map here. Okay. I don't know. I'm confused.
Get to knowing.
Gee, thanks.
All right. So Clotworthy did explain that they're taking core samples every 10 feet and as deep as 200 feet. And they're taking water samples as they go. So that's what they did.
Right. It makes sense. You're going to take water samples to see if there's gold in the water rushing in. We see the geyser coming up every time that they pull it out.
You may as well. I think they're pumping water in too.
I mean,
you know,
I don't know the logistics or the technicalities,
well,
but I believe you.
Yeah, well, I have that rig hooked up. It's always hooked up to one of Billy's water
That's true.
trucks. All right, so after the boreholes are done, they will place several 10-foot caissons based on the results of those boreholes, something that we saw them talking about in the first episode.
And they talk a little bit about it later in this episode. So,
yeah, toward the end.
I mean, a 10-foot caisson, and that's just based off of, I'd assume they're going to take the average of the ones that seem best and place them in there.
I think they're going to be putting one right over D2.
They should do it over R2 as well.
Why?
Boop, 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 boop. So they could have an R2D2.
Okay, show me your map. Where's R2?
It's at the very, very bottom.
They are not going to.
It's very far away.
They're not going to dig R2. Sorry, it's only D2.
Can they at least just like put a hole there, or someone put a flag so that so I can say it?
I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm saying no. Just don't force it. Move on. I'd rather them just find the gold and not like go after a random R2 hole.
Well, clearly they've been looking in the wrong place for years. Is what they were saying. So my R2 isn't that out of left field.
So wait a second. So did George Lucas have the answer?
Maybe.
And this is.
Are you coming up with a new conspiracy theory?
Maybe.
Do it.
No. Let's move on.
Okay.
So they pull up this core sample that has everybody interested, right? It's from 88.5 feet deep. And they brought it over to Terry's operating table.
Naturally.
They wanted to get into this, what they call the zone of interest at 90 feet. So this core,
this horizon.
Yeah, this core is like in a good spot. So Terry and Steve, they cut open the sausage. There's chunks of wood.
What?
Yeah. And Terry calls the wood on the top, like he says that it looks like planking, right?
Yeah, and it's like wood on wood.
Wood on wood.
It's a wood sandwich.
It's wood on wood action. All right. So last week they found the same type of wood in CD6, which is about 15 feet away.
Not very far away.
So that's what I was talking about earlier. Or no. Yeah, and then C1 is only 7 feet or 8 feet away from D2.
CD.
It's just all weird grid. You know, our friend Jeff, he recommended making a battleship game based on these the grid.
That is amazing. I love it. It's gonna have to be teeny tiny boxes to fit like on the battleship grid, but I like it. And you can. So do you get like rings or something? Or
I don't know. It's like
you place your arc in a certain spot on the grid,
and
they
have to
like drill it.
Yeah, you have to drill it, and if it comes up gold, you win.
Or like you could place like little pieces of dynamite all over, and then if that person hits it, it's like the opposite effect. Yeah,
Jeff's in the chat right now. What's up, Jeff? He's talking to Bokies about Max Headroom. You know who Max Headroom is?
No, I just assumed you were talking about maximizing the headroom. I'm like looking above my head right now.
No, Max Headroom was like a 1980s like spokesman for like Coca-Cola or something and other things. And it was like he's like a comedy thing with like newscasters or something. Anyway,
sounds like you're well versed.
No, there was like there was an article I read about him just the other day concerning this mystery that nobody's been able to get to the bottom of in Chicago, Illinois. So somebody hijacked the WGN TV station and another TV station and broadcast this guy in a mask, the Max Headroom mask. And to this day, this happened like 1987. To this day, nobody has figured it out.
I listened to a podcast on that. Now
Did you?
Now that you're talking.
You know what? We're pretty smart. Maybe we should get to the bottom of it.
We're not that smart. I mean,
Speak
maybe.
for yourself.
Okay. You should get to the bottom of it. And speaking of, we need to get back on track because you thought I was on a tangent. At least I was talking about Oak Island.
My bad.
Okay. This is like one of my favorite things. Craig walks over.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, what you guys got there? It looks dark and woody. It's that seems weird to me.
Better than light and buzzy?
What?
Buzz and Woody?
Oh. I don't know. It just sure that works as a description.
Sure. Well, he's excited. Charles
course.
also runs over. He's like, hey, I got the metal detector. Let's check this thing out.
Let me pinpoint this thing.
Yeah. And so he runs it over and, it goes beep, 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 beep.
Beep, beep,
So
beep,
they
beep,
found
beep.
something. Oh, is that the R2 to the D2?
It's the R2 to the D2. I love it. Love it. And then Steve is like picking up the sausage because he's like, wait, let's make sure it's not something on the table. And it wasn't. So they got excited and they're pulling out said piece of metal.
Yeah. So they
we all get excited about.
Yeah. And then Terry's like really taking a close look at it and like trying to brush anything off of it that may be organic material and
or maybe helpful material
or whatever. He's like dirt and the mud. He's like, it's caked on stuff. And he's taking that off and he's like, this kind of looks like it has cement on it.
Yeah, Krager is excited. And
I can't say Krager. That doesn't happen until the next episode.
I know, but that's why I just want to call him from now on. Okay. And the cement, I mean, it definitely perks up, right? Especially if it's metal. And I guess there's a history behind there being metal in that, on top of that vault with the cement-like material. And they also remember the Rosehead spike that came out with the cement on it.
Oh, is that the last time they found cement that we know of out of the money pit?
Off the top of my head, if I had to guess, that'd be yes, because I don't have anything else filed.
I was thinking like, where have we seen cement? And I'm like, well, we saw it kind of close to Billy's wall out in Smith's Cove, but I can't remember anything in the money pit. So yeah, I guess you're right about that.
That was Stephen Michael John, treasure hunter extraordinaire. So
Gearhart Property Improvement Employee of the Year.
Naturally, of course. And something that just cracks me up is when they mentioned the cement, Steve just chimes in, Charles, what's the history on that? And then it's just Encyclopedia Charles just spits out like the dates, what the history was, that they sent it off to London for
1897,
No need to store it in your head.
Frederick
I guess
Blair.
Charles has it handy.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, like because that's one of the things that Charles was explaining. The chapel vault may have been lined with some cement,
metal, and then covered in cement. Right?
Exactly. So I mean, maybe.
I mean, I just laugh because how many times have I heard, oh yeah, Charles is an encyclopedia of Oak Island, and it was instant proof. Excellent execution there, Charles.
Excellent. He's the excellence of execution.
And then, of course, Craig wants Dr. Krista Brousseau to take a look at it. Excited to see her again.
Well, we don't see her this episode.
I know, but I'm excited that she's coming back or going to, or the things. I like her. Thank you.
All right. So we do go away from the money pit, but we come back.
No, we don't.
Don't we? Oh,
that's
we don't.
all money pit. I have.
Well, actually, they did come back very often, but they would just Clotworthy would say like,
"Yeah, that's true."
Well, after they're done or with the work they're doing in the money pit, and it has like an overview of what they're doing, and then he briefly mentioned, it. So, all right. So then we got lots of swamp stuff. You want to talk about the swampy swamp, or metal detecting?
I like the swamp. Let's swamp it up.
Swamp it up. Swamp it up.
The heck?
All right, Sue. Let's see.
It was at the top.
It was at the top?
Yeah, so you go money pit and then into the swamp, silly, right there.
Cool. Swamp, Rick, Miriam, Billy, Craiger, and Laird. They're excavating the stone road that Terry Duveau felt could be up to 500 years old and maybe even Portuguese in origin.
We saw the flashback of him, and he's very definitive. That's a smart dude. I trust.
I would like to see more of Terry DeVoe on the island, because why not? Yeah, just all these brainiacs showing up on the island. It can only be good for my brain, because it gives me more things to think about.
Because you need more things to think about.
Brain health is what I'm concerned with at this point in my life.
Sure. Okay, so we got Billy there in the excavator, and he's removing kind of another layer, doing some Billy trowel work. And Craig notices what appears to be like a something, right? A structure, some rocks and wood that look awfully similar to what we got over on the other side next to him.
Yes.
Could it be?
It could.
More road?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, that was exciting to see. Because it's definitely like what they're looking at. It's not just a pile of rocks. Because like we were pausing earlier and looking, like, you're like, so where exactly is the boulderless beach? And we're like looking for it, right? And you see like all these boulders in this one aerial image of Oak Island. Then it's like nothing, and then you see boulders again, right?
It really never. I was like, okay, please explain this boulderless beach, because I've never really seen it with my eyes. I was like, is there really that many boulders on the shore?
Yeah, because they don't show a whole really good overview of it. Usually they show it, but it's like it's not as impressive when you see it through like a aerial photo, right? Or video. Yeah,
and you're comparing it to the shore right next, and I couldn't really pinpoint exactly where the boulderless beach was. And I was
she's
like,
a map person.
And I am. So I saw the aerial image where Dustin was saying, I think it's right up here. And sure enough, I paused it, and it's like bald of any type of rocks. And then it's like abrupt too. And then one side is just full of boulders and the other side is. And I said, well, that explains that.
That's how it got the name.
And we're thinking about all the different rocks that they would be using for whatever. It feels like to me at the boulderless beach, you would kind of want to start there for the track or whatever, right? Looking for more of it and see if there's a projection or something. Because if they're pulling them just from that section, the boulders, they're heavy, right?
That's right.
You're probably going to put them close to
unless you're taking them over to Smith's Cove to build a French drain with.
Maybe. I don't know.
We haven't talked about the French drain or anything like that in a long time.
That's true.
So
the flood tunnel.
There's lots of possibilities.
Oh my gosh.
I know, like, so the boulderless beach is on the northern end of the island.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and then the southern end of the island is where we have this stone road. I mean, where do they get all these stones? I don't know, but they're definitely laid out and not just nature.
They're deliberate. I mean, there's cribbing, especially in that really wet area that they're at in the southeast corner of the swamp. Of course, the whole swamp is a wet area, but the cribbing would keep them from collapsing down in. It's man-made. That doesn't just happen.
I know. Yeah, of course. But it's just like they're finding these new placed rocks. It's just kind of like, man, like where'd they get all these? And I was thinking maybe when it was like when the tide goes out, they collect most of the
I mean, why
rocks
not?
and bring them back in. I don't know.
I don't know the logistics.
You know who would know? Probably Terry Matheson.
Yeah.
I need to talk to that guy someday.
I would like to.
Yeah.
That'd be a good guy to talk to.
He's a rock hound.
You so punny.
Yeah. Anywho, back to what they were doing here. Yeah, they found the some boards. Craig jumps down into the muck to get a better look. And I think he was wanting Laird to do it, and Laird's like, no, I'm good up here. You do it.
He was like, Laird, I'm happy to jump down there. And Laird's like, yeah, go for it.
All yours, bud.
Yeah. Laird's thinking, yes, I don't have to do it. Poor Laird's probably exhausted. He's like, why do you keep finding things?
I know. He's like, archaeology is a slow work, y'all.
Yeah. But
we get time to process everything.
I gotta research everything. When you're pulling this much stuff up and finding structures like again and again
and again
and again. I mean, we haven't even talked about the paved area.
Yeah, in like a year.
Yeah, and there was so much more to. Oh man.
Yeah, All right.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry.
when he
Let's
jumps
go.
in there, he asks if the Restalls did some work over here.
Yeah.
Because they had some records
Mhm.
and
Well, we've seen like pictures and such. Well, at least this was the first time I had seen them.
yeah, that was the first time I've seen those images too of Bobby Restall doing some work in the southeast corner of the swamp.
Yeah, they had built like a structure, like a square structure, and he was probing. And we talked about this before. It's crazy to think that he would have just barely missed the stone road. And then there's this structure over here, just barely missed when probing. But how long has everybody been looking for this mystery box in the corner? In season 1, Dan like points to that exact area and the swamp says, yeah, I would start here. And Fred Nolan thought the same thing. Now we're on season 9 and getting really serious, especially about this corner of the swamp. And it just keeps giving.
Yeah, it's really giving. Yeah, so they've given us a whole season. Thankfully the team really dug into this swamp.
Did they dig in?
Yeah.
Did they drill down?
They did the swamp thing.
Did they dig deeper?
Yes.
Okay, just thought I'd check.
All right, so what we had found out last night, or not last night, this was like a week ago when this episode aired, but there was a caretaker on the island, Jack Adams.
Yes.
During the 1930s, and he was probing that southeast corner of the swamp, and he thought he found a large wooden box. And so it went unexplored for a long time, and that's when the Restalls came in and gave it another look. By the way, Restalls on the island for 5 years.
They did a lot.
They did a ton of stuff. Like, they were all over the place, and they, if my arm wasn't behind you right now, I would like clap and give them some applause right now.
Like a standing O, because you just we learn more and more and more.
I know. It's just crazy. Like, I wonder what we don't know still, because they were very, very active on the island, and they had a much smaller crew and a lot less resources. So they're to be commended.
Yeah, they were clearly
props to the
smart
Restalls
with what they were doing, and it's astonishing to me, absolutely astonishing. So, good job, Restalls.
Yeah,
good job.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Yeah, some people in the chat are talking about like where the rocks come from for like the Stone Road compared to Boulderless Beach and everything, and Janet says that they had mentioned that the rocks from the Boulderless Beach were not used on the Stone Road. And we're just how we cover the show is just what they give us. I do very little digging into a lot of the history and stuff. I just like the way that I talk about things and present things. Of the history. You dig into a lot of stuff. I do very little digging, and it's just from this podcast is from a perspective of just a person loving the show. Yep.
No, I'm thinking Boulderless Beach, maybe those rocks weren't used over at the swamp, because that seems like a ridiculously long way to transport something.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Hundreds and hundreds of feet.
So why not be used for something that was really close to that area? I was just shocked at how abrupt the lack of boulders was there. It just never dawned on me. A little bit of perspective was quite nice.
Yeah, perspective should not be lost.
It should not. Okay, so we know they come and go from the swamp throughout the episode. And
Lee Lamb also shared Bobby Restall's journals with Rick, and there was like a little flashback of them talking about that. So that should definitely be thrown in there, because I mean, she's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's cool. I don't know how else to say it.
She's cool.
She's super cool. Is she not cool?
I didn't say she wasn't. I'm sure she's full of knowledge, and yes, she is cool.
There you go.
Props to her.
Yeah.
So the next time when they're doing some more digging in the swamp, after we've already talked about what could potentially be more rocks and structure, Billy calls over to Rick and is like, hey, can you come look at those couple of sticks and see if they're a thing? Like, are they important or just sticks? And around here, you never know. Usually they're more than sticks, right?
Yeah. So
And
Rick jumps
Rick
on
does
in.
the thing.
And he
And-
goes and looks at it, and he's like, "Oh, this is something."
Yeah, it definitely was. It had like a carving out of the center,
Yeah, it had like a
like a line.
yeah. So
with
it's a
two
piece
little
of
round
wood
pieces.
that had like a section carved out of it
Mhm.
that was deliberate
Yes.
because it was like a nice straight line,
Mhm.
had two rounded ends. And I said to Deidre, I'm like, that looks like a Trip Trap chair. Like,
Yeah.
because we have these folding, or we have this folding chair. It's like,
with different levels.
yeah. And it's like an adjustable wooden folding chair.
Mhm.
And it's got like these pieces of, like the legs have like a slide in it so you can fold it up and readjust it and stuff. And it looks like one of the legs of the Trip Trap chair to me. That's the first thing that popped in my mind.
My thought was it looked like if it was off a ship, like you'd have two of them, it'd be like a drawer slide where like two pegs would go in, and that way with the way the round pieces are in them, when you shut the drawer, it would stay shut on the water, and then when you pulled it open, it would be open, right? So that was my thought. Either way, it looks like something is supposed to go in it, right? To make a moving mechanism of some kind. And it was broke on one end.
Yeah, but we were talking about it a little bit more. And you know, if you put like a marble in there or something, like a bead of some sort, you know, beads have been around forever. I don't know about marbles, but something that can roll around.
Stone. A dressed stone.
Or
like a pebble.
Or even like what is it? The shot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. And something round. It could be a level we were talking about. You know, that would make a lot of sense because you could stick it in one side and just kind of put it down and, you know, make sure things are level. And if it's rolling to one side or the other, you know which way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a primitive lever or not lever.
It could be that too, a primitive lever for all you know.
It could be a lever.
Primitive level.
There's a lot of
well.
things. But you know what Rick said? Rick said, someone will know.
They should ask Tony if they're thinking it's maritime.
I bet you
we miss Tony.
I bet you they showed it to Doug and he's like, oh yeah, I know what that is.
Or Charles or, you know, one of the encyclopedias on the island.
Or Paul.
Yeah. And Miriam comes over. Miriam calls Laird over. So everybody's looking at it and they agree it's possibly a maritime object. Laird's like, well, that would make sense, right? We're in the swamp and we're saying it was open to the water. And then Clotworthy goes on to explain to us about the ship-shaped anomaly and Fred Nolan's theory. It's kind of like a flashback, a reminder of all this stuff. Plus, you know, they found something weird last year at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Kind of like the front of the swamp when it was very wet.
Hey, something we didn't touch on earlier. Sorry, going back, rewind to when Craig was down looking at the pieces of wood, and we didn't mention that they were like 12 inches to 16 inches wide, the planking, the boards.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's pretty big. I mean, I just wanted to, I didn't want to not mention it.
Narrow piece of plywood. Like it would be like a primitive narrow piece of plywood to stand on, right? You know, could they stand on pieces of plywood to distribute their weight? It's so you don't sink into the swamp. Maybe that's what they were doing with those other planks.
Possibly,
if they were that wide.
Yeah, but they seem like part of a wall, like up and down, like you.
Oh, so they were like that way.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have missed that.
It's okay. It was
Maybe
a week ago.
Box.
The episode aired over a week ago. It's okay if you don't remember a detail or two.
I don't know if that's acceptable, actually. It is Oak Island. I try to store these things.
Yeah. So the next time they go to the swamp, what happened? The next time that the show brings us back to the swamp.
Well, and then next time they bring us back, there's another grouping of rocks.
Say what?
And it looked like it had kind of lined up with the area which Terry DeVoe was talking about, a potential ship's wharf. And it's just like rocks. There's so many rocks. I don't know, guys.
The earth just keeps creating them, you know? It is what it is.
Yep.
The water smooths them out. All right. Yeah. So is that it with the good old swamp?
It is
That was
for
the last of
episode 2.
The swamp action of episode
That was
2.
the last of swamp action for episode 2. There's obviously more in the next go around.
Sure. So let's talk about some metal detecting with Gary and Rick on lot 15.
Yes. Okay. So Rick and Gary are metal detecting on lot 15.
You don't say.
Yeah, rumor has it. And this is an area where so Gary and Peter had found that piece of metal that they took to Carmen Lake that was part of the hub of a
Wagon wheel.
wagon wheel.
Yeah.
Which, you would use for carrying rocks over rocks or gold over rocks.
Why the heck not, right?
No, why not? There's so many rocks. Let's rock and roll, I guess. So they're over there because they're trying to hopefully track the road, track
the track.
The road that keeps popping up out of nowhere, and there's like a billion roads. What did
oh my gosh, a billion, huh?
Call it last year? The Oak Island Highway.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't just like one road. The interstate, the Oak Island Interstate, I think is what he called it. Yes, Steve, this is definitely one of the exits, most likely.
Could be.
Very well could be. And then, of course, we're talking about CCH and the fact that things have changed on the island. So they're slowed down a bit. I know Rick isn't super thrilled about it. And they're going to an area where they've already done metal detecting, and there's lots of flags.
That was something Peter helped him with, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Marking all the spots. Okay.
And
we didn't
Rick-
see Peter in this episode.
No.
I missed him.
Yeah.
Good
Sorry.
kid.
He is. He's a good guy. I don't know him personally. Maybe one day we will. So Rick explains that part of the difference is also now they have these transector grids across the island. So the whole island is on a giant grid. And, like every archaeology site is covered in grids. Battleship is covered in grids.
Mm-hmm.
Oi, so many grids.
Oi.
So even after they put down all the flags, poor Laird has to come through and then document where all the flags are within the big grid before they can even dig them. And then when they start metal detecting, get to the first thing, what they pull up is a pull tab from a can.
Wah, wah.
And so how many of those flags are, say, garbage, and Laird has spent his time and resources having to put them on a grid? Yeah, and really he's using Rick and Marty's resources.
Yeah.
But there's a better way for Laird to spend his time than that. And Rick brings that up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just need to get another junior archaeologist out there to do that kind of thing. But the problem is
they could get a volunteer named Deidre White. I'm in.
I don't think they can though, right?
Why not? Call me.
No, but you have to have the credentials, and you have to be like.
Why do I have to have credentials? I'll get battleship credentials. My job will simply be to go out and record on the grid where the things are. I'll be the grid girl. There's water boys and then there's grid girls. I'm the grid girl.
Water boy,
grid girl.
Okay.
Done.
Got it.
I fixed it. I fixed the problem.
Okay.
Okay. So the second item Rick pulls up.
What's that?
Is it Rick that digs it out? No, I guess Gary technically.
Gary gets down there
up.
and pinpoints it and pulls it out.
Mm-hmm. An ox shoe.
We've seen those before.
Yeah, just a couple. But that's a good sign.
Yeah, well, apparently they found a whole bunch before that too, like in prior years, so they just didn't really bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, more ox shoes on Oak Island. Who would have known?
It's just that's a good sign. And Gary says it's probably British because of the wider bottom. They've obviously pulled a lot up, but where there's oxen being used here, there's probably a track nearby. They're probably on track for the track.
Well, it's probably pulling gold, as Gary would like to believe, and like all of us would like to believe.
I concur.
So Yeah, I mean, that was lot 15.
Mhm.
Then they kind of move on.
Yeah, they do some other
So,
things.
Lot 15, they described that as the uplands, right?
Yeah, they were in an upland part of lot 15.
So when we moved to lot 16, is that kind of the downlands?
No,
I'm going to say it's the downlands.
because
Hmm.
I don't have a topographical map, but the way that the island is shaped, like
Oh, you're at the uplands. You got to get to
you
the
are
downlands at some point.
you would have to be upland from. Okay, I'm done.
Where's the downlands then? I'm going to say it's lot 16 until I'm proven otherwise.
But it's not just lot 16. It would be a certain portion of lot 16 because it would be downland
Okay.
from the higher elevation.
Sure.
So it'd be closer to the water.
Sounds great.
Are you just
I'm on
trying
board with
to
you.
be highly complicated?
No, I'm just saying, like, if the lot 15 is the uplands and we're getting close to the money pit and we're going back down to the money pit, yeah, I would consider that the downlands. Probably there's probably downlands on the other side of lot 15 too, going down to the swamp. So we got the uplands and the downlands.
I don't agree, but we should carry on anyways.
Okay. All right.
I'm not looking at a map to fight with you properly right now to bring the facts to the table.
Okay. Well, until then,
we'll be wrong. So lot 16, Rick and Gary are out there to, bring items out that have already been flagged and marked by Laird that could be marked by the grid girl.
Well, we got Jackie in the chat right now. She says that she wants to be your assistant.
That's perfect. I mean, there's clearly a lot of things that need tagging and gridding.
Go for it, you guys.
Yep.
Have fun. Knock yourselves out.
I needed to write a proposal.
Do it.
Okay, so they're still looking for clues that the track is nearby, that the road is nearby, because obviously lot and 16 are by each other, and the odds are there's going to be some intersecting. So first flag they get to, Gary pulls up and thinks it's a square nail, and he thinks it's old because of the weight of said thing. Nail. Because of the nail being heavy.
Yeah, it looked old.
Yep.
I mean, that nail could be older than the discovery of the money pit. That's always an exciting thing to find on Oak Island.
Yeah, they should go put it on the XRF.
Hey, Marilyn says she wants to join you on the grid. You get a whole team of grid girls out there, and you guys could just, like, I don't know, you can make things so much easier or more difficult for the fellowship. Choice is yours.
It is not more difficult.
No, I'm just saying, I don't know. You're not there doing it right now, so it could be more difficult, but you could make it a lot easier on them too. I don't know.
I know. We're going to form a grid, and we will...
Amy's in.
See? Amy's going to bag and tag. Guys, we got this. We got it.
Wouldn't it be a dream come true?
Yeah, let's write the proposal. We're going to submit it. Gridlock. It'll be amazing. We're here to help you, Laird. Trouty,
I'll just go around, like, naming new parts of the island, like the downlands, and then I can go and name something else. I don't have anything on top of my mind, but
because you'll have it wrong. Janet here is ready to take care of the flags, so she could, like, mark the flags for the bags.
And you'd all do it for free?
Well, I mean, everything's always negotiable. I'm not going to offer it for free without proper negotiations. Okay. Who do you think I am?
Oh, I know. I know exactly who you are.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know you pretty well.
Rumor has it.
16 years.
Is that it?
That enough? Anywho.
Okay, so we got
back to the downlands.
We got through the first flag.
Okay.
And then Gary's telling Rick, when him and Peter were out here metal detecting, that he noticed most of the signals, the hits they were getting were at the top, upland, or towards the bottom of the lot, downland, which makes sense, being downward if, like, it was a bunch of guys hanging out around the seashore that you would drop more things.
I thought he meant, like, he was finding them a lot more shallow, like, up toward the top and not as deep into the earth. That's the way I took that.
I definitely did not take it that way.
Well, one of us is probably wrong, and it's probably you, but that's okay.
Wow. Wow.
I
We
still
need to
love
get
ya.
us some facts.
Oh man, Boki says we need to get the Badlands and the Lowlands.
The bad.
I love it. I love it.
Oh man. The land before time.
Yeah.
It's true.
I love it. Good stuff. All right. So yeah, they kind of finish up with what they're doing. They're walking off into the distance, you know, being all cool, walking toward the horizon. And Gary
Hero
spots
shot.
something.
Yeah.
What did he find? Or what did his twin optical scanners pick up on?
Well, he picks up what looks to be like a small round cannonball or
He thought it was an egg.
grape shot. He originally thought it was like a robin's egg, but it looks like the same one Michael John found when sifting through spoils with the guptil in where they also found that rose head with the cement on it.
So are you saying somebody has a hole in their pocket and they walked and this thing fell out of their pocket into the spot? You said it literally. You literally just said that it looked like the same one.
No, it looks like that one.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't look at all like the same one.
That's what I heard. My bad.
Well, you hear what you want to hear. Surprise, surprise. So this thing is like super smooth.
Very round. Like it is. It was.
It's been exposed to the elements.
Yeah, but it was definitely manufactured by people
by hand.
By hand, yeah. What would they do? So it's like kind of like sanding, but not sanding.
Well, yeah, it would. You, as Gary explains, like dress stones that would go inside of muskets or whatever.
Yeah, but how do they make them? Is what I'm saying.
I'm getting there.
Oh, my bad.
So what they would do is even like stonemasons and stuff. You just keep chipping away at it until it's like if you're carving something. Same thing. You're just subtracting material away till you get to whatever it is, the shape. Right? You sit around, you eat lunch, and you make some cannon shots. I mean, they're not making them out of iron right now. They're making them out of stones.
Well, and then you got to look in the downlands to find such things, apparently. So
it could have come out of a slingshot.
Could have.
I keep thinking of like David and Goliath, and like the pictures you see where he's got a slingshot and a rock.
Whap.
Yeah, so David and Goliath.
Oh my gosh, that's even older than
epic battle could have taken place on this island.
That was like BC. I mean, this bullet or whatever, this slingshot ball is older than anything they found on the island.
Well, they haven't found the Ark in the swamp yet. Noah's Ark, but
I was like, the Ark of the Covenant's in the money pit. Sorry. How many arcs are there? What kind of ark is there in Smith's Cove that they haven't found yet?
Whatever one I want.
Okay. All right. So that was kind of that. Right. And so they're excited to find another one of those little bullet things.
Yeah.
And then what happens next? Where do we go? To the archaeology trailer.
That's right. Where we go.
That is right. And so Rick, Gary, Billy meet up with Laird and Dr. Spooner.
Of course, Laird's in there overseeing.
Yeah, at the archaeology trailer. And they are going to do some analysis on that metal found in borehole D2 at the money pit.
R2.
No, it was D2.
Oh, it was in D2. My bad.
Silly. Yeah, so the metal. They stick it into the XRF. What does that stand for again? X-ray
fluorescence
radioactive. Or
let's just stick
it's not
with
radioactive.
I don't have to know what the acronym is in order to understand.
I'll know when we do our next podcast. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the XRF device, and I'll tell them what kind of metals are inside the what the metal's made out of.
Yes.
Okay. There is a flash on the screen. Like all these different elements are popping up, and then suddenly we see two letters that make Gary perk up.
Yeah, AU.
AU. What does that mean?
Gold. Billy saw it too.
How does AU mean gold?
Oh, I don't remember the history behind it, but it has to do with the original Latin term.
Okay.
So that's where most of your initials come from.
Makes sense.
is the Latin term for it as they've evolved over time.
Duh. Yeah, and so AU pops up. That's gold. It definitely I think Gary's about ready to start doing his gold dance.
His eyes like pop out of his head.
But then he didn't for who knows why. Who knows the reason?
Because it disappeared. And you see Rick tell him to like calm down.
Yeah, Rick didn't see it.
Yeah,
it's like wait a second.
And Billy's like, no, I saw it.
It was there. It was there.
I thought it was so funny, and because Spooner was like, yeah, I saw that too, and he's like, hang on, like let me just move it around. Okay, this is a total. Well, let me just shake it a little bit and see if it works. Like.
Shake,
it's like
shake,
when
shake.
you hit the TV because like the TV, like the picture won't come in clear.
Yeah.
This is that. He's like, let me just shake the metal and see if it'll come up with some gold.
Whatever happened, it worked.
Hey, cool.
It worked his magic.
Shake, shake, shake.
Yeah. That's kind of sad that Terry wasn't in there because he's the one that kind of like.
What did he do?
He found it.
Did he?
I think he
really did. It should be the choice guys then.
Or Steve, or who pinpointed it?
Charles.
It's Charles. Why isn't Charles in there?
I don't know.
Well, his services must be needed elsewhere at the time.
Apparently.
He was probably in the.
He was probably working. Like
he's probably in the Downlands.
No. Okay. Anyways, once it gets done calculating or whatever, the results show that they have 0.068% gold on it.
Itty
bitty. Well, Gary's excited regardless, but he's like, so how much is that? Like your heart dump truck? And Spooner says, no, it's more like a thimble full of gold.
Yeah.
Hey, that's something.
It's something. I mean, it's something.
It is. And Spooner goes on to explain that the gold could be from like sediment in and around it,
Sure.
Since it hasn't been like thoroughly cleaned, or it could have been like in that cement stuff.
Yeah. So
or it could be embedded in it.
Yeah. Dr. Spooner said that he didn't expect a piece of metal to come out of the 88 to 90 foot 2 range with gold on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he did say, I'm getting surprised at the furious rate we're finding stuff these days.
Yeah. Rick, welcome to Oak Island.
Get used to it, buddy.
Well, yeah, he kind of came in as a skeptic, which is, hilarious, and never left.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's here because like he has so much credibility to the team, to an already credible team.
Well, yeah,
and they're an incredible team. So now we're gonna leave this place. All right, out of the Laird Cave or whatever.
Out of Laird's Lair.
Laird's Lair, yeah. All right, so next we have like a new arrival onto Oak Island.
We do, and they take him straight to the war room. So let's kind of like lump it.
Sure. So we got a drive and a war room.
Yeah. So Rick, he's got to pick up Marty and Alex.
They arrived. They're in Nova Scotia. And Marty asks Rick what he's dying to show them and what have they found so far. And Rick pulls from his shirt pocket that piece of metal from D2,
his own top pocket find, apparently.
Apparently, even though it's technically Charles, but whatever. Yeah, and he shows him that he tells him that this piece of metal was analyzed and has gold on it.
Hopefully, he didn't rub it off in his pocket, and now his pocket's the top pocket find.
No, because we know what happened next episode already.
I thought we were supposed to ignore that.
Oh yeah, no,
we don't. You're not good at following your own rules.
Yeah. He tells him it's found at the 88.5 foot level, and that there are additional results that Craig wants to share when they get to the war room. Marty calls it the most exciting thing in regards to the treasure hunt.
I love that Craig, who we know loves to deliver data results, is just waiting in the war room.
He's just like,
and he's got that grin on his face, like when he likes to deliver results.
He's like, I got good news for you, Marty. Yeah. Alex, what did he say when they're like in the car? Remember? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's saying that the depth that metal was found at is way more plausible than 220 feet.
Yeah,
That's fair.
And when we briefly talked about that, and you're like, isn't that kind of like what
Gretchen
Gretchen
was talking about, because Marty brings up the
Yeah.
idea of an offset chamber,
Mhm.
and I just remember Gretchen Cornwall when she was on, and the theory with the cross and the being the offset chamber.
Sure.
But you and I also had a discussion the other day where you brought up the 90-foot stone,
Mhm.
and maybe it really is its directions, like you've hit the 90-foot mark, and from there really what it's saying is you need to go
tunnel over
because all these platforms, so you've hit the 90-foot platform and now you need to go the other direction in order to whatever that happens to be.
And for all
that seems logical.
And for all we know, it could have been like, and go north 30 feet and you'll get to the treasure, but it's really south,
Yeah, I mean, it could be
another booby trap, another thing to throw them off.
Or it might just be the directions and
hey, you've come this far, well done.
Yeah, here. Like, clearly you've earned your right if you've been here. And then if we look back and think, okay, so at the money pit, and that's what brought up the discussion, at the money pit, the horizon we keep hitting that has this tunnel is that 90-foot mark.
Yep.
So if it was found at 90 feet, it makes sense that you would tunnel over from wherever that original spot is, which leads us to the idea of an offset chamber.
For sure.
It's so practical, it just smacks you in the face there.
Pop. Bam. Pow.
Yeah.
Biff. Wham. Yeah. Anyway, we arrive at the war room.
Yes.
Marty, Alex, and Rick arrive, and Craig is sitting there along with Doug, Steve, Jack, Billy, and Gary.
Everybody's excited that Marty's back.
Heck yeah, they are. They're like, hey, Billy's like, you got your wallet there, Marty?
Right? I need that. It's getting expensive over here.
Yeah. So Craig has some details.
Yeah, he's excited. He's got like 5 bags in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig says he only has one piece of new data with him, which is the wood, but he also has the metal that came up, which actually I guess technically Rick has.
Technically.
Why aren't they using gloves or whatever? I guess it came out of the mud, but whatever. Anyways, so he wanted to incorporate some of the older finds to obviously prove a point. I mean, he's telling a story here.
That's what Craig does. He
That
gathers all the data.
That's what the Crager does.
This is what the data says. Boo!
So the first item he pulls up is from, he says CD 2.5.
-9.75.
Which was at 91.5 feet. There's that horizon we were talking about. And that was found last year. Craig reminds them that CD 2.5, it's pretty close to D2, right? R2D2.
Yeah.
And D2 is where Steve pulled out the wood for the sampling and that we got this piece of metal that we've been talking about from. Okay, so wood from CD 2.5, which is the one we got last year.
-9.25.
Shush, you're going to confuse these poor people.
My bad.
Dated when they had sent it off to very definitively just to this one range of 1488 to 1650. Okay, awesome.
It's a good range.
It is a good range. And now this one that is D2, which is also very close. It came up at 90 feet.
Okay.
So 1.5 feet different in depth, which, okay, that makes sense.
It's in the right zone.
It is in the right zone. And they're not in the solution channel, so that's not really a concern there. Its dating came back with a 95.4% confidence rating.
It's pretty confident.
At 1488 to 1650.
Ooh.
So it's the exact range.
And 1488, I mean, that's prior to Columbus. So
And
I like seeing that.
I
Makes sense
mean,
with that shoe.
Marty says that, okay, well, that's amazing. I mean, we could be looking at the same piece of wood at that point. I mean, it could also not be the same piece of wood, but that's a very definitive range. And for it to be the exact dates, like 1488 to 1650, and to be that sure about it, I mean, that's pretty cool, in my opinion.
It's really cool.
And
Loved it.
so in an interview, quote unquote, Marty says that it's possible they have been searching the wrong area this entire time, and that these new holes very well could be the location they've actually been looking for, which would make sense because, like you said, it doesn't make sense that if it's where we're looking that we haven't hit something, we haven't hit it yet. We should have it.
It should.
We should. And then we also get Rick, who goes into a mini speech about C1 and the area we've been looking. And then I've got a clip, so let's listen to that.
Okay, let's listen.
The historical data indicates to the north of C1, or even at C1, was unexplored, literally. And so now, yes, this data, the metal piece, absolutely. Right. These dates just support my belief for a long time that whatever work was done here was done quite early.
Exactly.
Yeah, quite
Exactly.
early.
Exactly.
And even Doug says these dates are pre-searcher by a long shot. That's good data.
It's really good. I mean, that's what we want to see. That's what we want to hear because, like Rick said, he believes all this stuff was done a long time ago.
You know what this tells me?
What?
In 2015, we should have just listened to Charles.
Good old Charles.
Charles.
C1. And then they're like, let's go do RF1. Let's go do GAL1.
Yeah.
OC1? Why not?
E3.23.
Guys,
Which
Charles
is
knew what he was talking about.
Right in the middle of the Dunfield dig. I don't remember. Do you remember what the depth is on the Dunfield dig?
Isn't like 100 feet.
Depth?
No, it's 100 feet wide. Maybe it was like 150 feet deep.
There's no way it's 100 feet wide.
I thought that's what it was.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35.
That's wrong.
You're wrong.
I don't know. You're the one that wants to dig R2 or R2 down there, okay?
I just want to do it for fun.
Okay.
Because why not? Because I'm a grid girl.
Yeah, the area is probably red now, like where they can't touch because nobody's touched it. And you dig that, you're gonna find some First Nation artifacts.
What,
okay?
R2?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know which.
So leave it alone, or else they'll take over the money pit too.
Leave it alone. Go away.
Yeah. Anyway, Gary said medieval baby after hearing all those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't mention that.
Yep. And what does Jack chimes in saying that the Templars could have been here first. He's really pro Templars.
Why the heck not? That's why I'm still rooting for. I'm right there with you, Jack.
I mean, we can root for it.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that. I mean, Britt goes on to say it later how we've got really broken pieces of history in here, and all these theories about how like the Masons, like the Templars turning to the Masons, and what all that looked like. Maybe this is tying that together. I mean, it's not going to be with a perfect bow, but
it might be. Who knows?
It could be.
If they open up this vault and it has, Marie Antoinette's jewels, or if it has the works of William Shakespeare, that's going to be a nice, pretty bow. It's going to be tied up real nice.
You know what? Dave is going to be highly disappointed if it's Shakespeare's works.
Yeah, but if it's that, or if it's like a whole bunch of like gold and it's like Aztec stuff, and it's like, I don't know, if it's like a whole hodgepodge, I mean, then it's not going to be a nice bow.
No.
If it's like
there's
Holy
nothing
Grail.
clean about this at all.
Yeah.
You think the Holy Grail in Shakespeare's manuscripts are going to be a clean sitch?
Probably not.
I mean, it's going to be holy and not in the biblical sense.
Yeah, I feel you.
Unless
Unless
it is north of C1 and they haven't destroyed it yet. I don't know.
Don't know.
So that's all I got on that.
Oh, that's what we got.
That was the episode.
That was the end of the episode. Cool.
Mhm.
Well, it was a fun one. I'm looking forward to doing the next podcast about the episode that followed it.
Oh my gosh,
Wait,
that was such a good
next
one.
time on The Curse of Oak Island.
I don't have anything.
I didn't do any notes on that.
It was
either.
intense.
No, it'll be what you hear next time we do a podcast,
Yes.
which is very soon.
Yes, it is. And gosh, that episode was really good.
Hmm.
So many maps. I cheered for each map that came on the screen.
Yeah, because you're like the most prolific Oak Island work thief.
I'm okay, that's fair. I mean, I do just try to steal Steve's stuff. He won't just give it to me.
Well, you
So
gotta take
I
what
have
you
to
can get.
work for it by watching the show a ridiculous number of times.
Oh yeah, girl.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right, so what else we got? We got Clotworthies.
We got clotworthy moments. So we do have a winner from the prior week.
Do we?
Yes.
We do. All right. What?
I mean, that's usually
That's
the
how it
deal.
works.
That's how this happens.
All right. So
Okay.
who is the winner of the Clotworthy moment of the week last week?
Ken.
A stone pathway extending from the massive stone ship's wharf in the swamp.
That was
Stone
the
Pathway.
winner
Good
over the
stuff.
keg.
All right. So everybody that voted for the Stone Pathway, well done. You did it.
Bravo. Bravo.
Bravo. All right. So we have 2 new Clotworthy contenders.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, so there was much ado about this new movie that came out last week of on Netflix.
Red Notice.
Red Notice. It the
Did you
beginning of
notice
it.
something?
Well, the beginning of it was full of it was just a giant Clotworthy moment.
It was epic.
It was epic. So
I know that voice anywhere.
yeah. So if you haven't seen, go watch the movie Red Notice on Netflix.
Mhm.
It's free. Well, it's free if you have a Netflix subscription.
True.
It's
Or
brand
someone
new.
else's.
It stars The Rock,
Yes.
Gal Gadot, or is it Gadot? I don't remember how to pronounce her name. Sorry, Gal. She played Wonder Woman.
Yes.
She's pretty epic. And Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun
It
movie.
was hilarious.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. Go watch it. Clotworthy's all over the beginning.
Yep.
Worth a watch. All right, so Clotworthy moments of the week for episode 2.
Yes.
Let's hear what the
Okay.
what's going up against what.
Yes. So close.
Planked wood, nearly 90 feet deep in borehole D2.
Planked wood.
Planked wood is up against
Traces of gold detected on the mysterious piece of metal retrieved from D2 in the money pit.
Traces of gold
found blah 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 blah
in the money pit.
in the money pit.
All right, so we have traces of gold. What was the first one again?
The first one?
I forgot.
Planked wood, nearly 90 feet deep in borehole D2.
So we have
D2.
planked wood versus whatever. Gold. Which one's going to win? That's up to you. Go to facebook.com/Oak Island Podcast. Find our group. Could it be
An Oak Island group.
an Oak Island group? And you'll be able to vote today and today only because we got to turn this around quick.
Yep.
And that means I got to do this as soon as we're done. And vote for your favorite Clotworthy moment of last week.
Because then we got to do the next episode. So we're all caught up for episode 4.
So that we're caught up in time for episode 4. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All the things.
All right. Is there anything else?
I think we just tell them how they get a hold of us. And
Yeah,
did you have any other?
we had a phone
housekeeping?
call, didn't we not?
I don't think so.
I think we did, but we'll do it
We can
tomorrow.
do it during
Yeah.
pregame next time, or
We'll talk about that later. We did have emails too, a lot of well wishes for us about my sister. So thank you so much for that.
yes.
Yes. Yeah. And if you'd like to support us, you go to patreon.com/Oak Island Podcast and you could, monetarily support us. We would
We
really
appreciate
appreciate
it.
it. Like, I know it's, I mentioned this last time, it's kind of a hard time for people to give, and we're not a charity, but
No.
we are in need just like anybody else. And
Yeah.
we if you can, we would be greatly appreciative. And It helps us do what we do. It
And
could
keep
help
on
us
doing it.
get new equipment and stuff, and make sure that the stream's running good, all that, and a bag of chips.
Oh, that and a bag of chips. I love chips.
Yeah, so does our
They're
daughter. Emma
delicious.
loves sour cream and onion.
I know, and I was hoping maybe she wouldn't love them as much, so like I could keep them for myself. But
She loves
turns
them more
out
than
I
you.
had a mini me, and she likes the snacks I like.
She likes them way more than you do too.
I don't think she likes them more.
I
I
don't
just
know.
think she sneaks them more often than
Yeah.
I just,
Mm.
Anyways,
Anywho.
you can find us on Facebook at Oak Island Podcast, on Instagram at Oak Island Podcast, on Twitter at Oak Island Pod. You can email us.
That's at Gmail, right? So it's
Yes.
OakIslandPodcast@gmail.com.
There's a trend here. We also have a website, OakIslandPodcast.com.
And you can find more stuff there.
Mhm.
You can. I don't have the cup here. Darn. I was
It
going to show
was
you a
right at
cup
your
you could
feet.
buy from there, because we do have cool merch,
Some swag.
including like a Billy shirt. We
Mhm.
got Oak Island Friends gear.
Mm-hmm.
We've got
Guptail gear.
Fellowship design.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
So good.
So go to Facebook, or sorry, that's at OakIslandPodcast.com.
Yep.
And click on store or something like that.
Yep.
There you go. So that's it.
There you be.
So we'll see you very soon for episode or a recap of episode 3, which was called what? Stone
Roadblock.
Uh-oh. Well, I guess we'll talk to you
It
about
was
that
still a
then.
good episode.
It was a good
It
episode.
was.
All right. So anything else?
Nope. So until next time.
Could it be?